Hi everyone, it's RaeOfLight and I want to welcome you back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be talking about my sleep paralysis history. Now I know this topic can be a little bit controversial because of the scientific definition behind it, and I'm going to read that off to you really quickly before I kind of kick off to my history and my stories of what has happened to me in the past. But it says that sleep paralysis is a phenomenon in which a person, either during falling asleep or awakening, temporarily experiences an inability to move, speak, or react. It is a transitional state between wakefulness and sleep characterized by muscle atonia. I think I'm saying that right. It's muscle weakness. It is often accompanied by terrifying hallucinations, to which one is unable to react due to the paralysis and physical experiences. One hypothesis is that is a result of disrupted REM sleep, which normally induces complete muscle atonia to prevent sleepers from acting out their dreams. Okay, so with that being said, I do believe a portion of that can be true. But according to my history and my stories behind my sleep paralysis, it kind of to me doesn't really add up to the scientific notion of this just being a mental thing. I really believe that there's more to it that maybe the scientific realm hasn't really looked much into. But according to my own experiences, I can't really fully say that I believe that scientific definition of what sleep paralysis truly is. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and kick off and tell you some of my stories. This all seemed to happen when I was about 8 or 9 years old. This is when I really discovered that there is a whole world of spiritual and all types of things happening around us that I was never aware of. Growing up, I was very religious. I was forced to be very religious by my mother. We always had to read the Bible each night. We always had to pray. It was every Sunday morning. We were in our Sunday best. We were at church. It was just kind of like the routine thing to do. We were taught as children that there are no ghosts. There are no other spiritual phenomena. It's only heaven or hell, angels or demons. That's all it is. And, that kind of frightened us a lot as children, because whenever something happened to us that we weren't able to explain, the first thing we were taught as children as that was a demon. When I was about 9 or 8 years old, this was when my father was currently in the military, and he got stationed at a MEP station in Jackson, Mississippi. So we moved to Clinton, and Clinton is kind of a smaller town. It's like I said, it's up and coming. It's a mixture of nationalities and cultures. So it was a really good area to raise your children in, to say the least. So we moved into this house in Clinton, and the house was fairly nice. It was in a really nice suburban feel type of area, and it was just beautiful. It had a nice, beautiful, huge swing in the front yard, a huge backyard for our animals. It was just a nice neighborhood in general. So when we first moved into the house, I really didn't have any understanding of any other worldly events. Like I said, all we knew was there was a heaven and a hell. That's all we knew as children. We weren't allowed to watch scary movies. We weren't allowed to listen to secular music. It was just Christian music or nothing. So that's the type of lifestyle we lived as children. So moving into this house, I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was nice. The house was fairly large, and it had a very long hallway, and that hallway branched off into the different bedrooms that we all resided in. So my bedroom was at the very end of the hallway to the right, and it was right across the hallway from my mother and father's bedroom. Now, at first, I started to share a bedroom with my sister because I was so little, but over time, my sister did move out and go into her own bedroom. And that's when basically a lot of the activity started happening, when I was left alone in my bedroom. One night that I remember very, very detailed, I was getting ready for bed, and we had just finished eating dinner. and I was in the bathroom getting ready for bed. And at the very end of the hallway, we had a very large closet that we kept like our, coats and other like material that we stored in this particular closet. We kept everything in there. And it had a mirror right on the outside of that door. Now, I remember every time I walked down this hallway and I would look in the mirror, it always kind of gave me the creeps. And I didn't understand why it did that, but I just knew it gave me the creeps. So I was finishing in the bathroom, getting myself ready for bed, and I leave out of the bathroom, and I have to walk down this hallway, and I see the mirror, and I just kind of got the creeps and the chills again, but I kind of bypassed it, and I went into my bedroom. Now, I'm in my bedroom, and like I told you, my parents were very religious, so every night I had to read a scripture from the Bible, and I had to say my prayers, and I had to go to bed. So I'm reading a scripture from the Bible, and I'm starting to get sleepy, so I lay down, and I start to drift off to sleep, and I don't even know if I even had any dreams, but I remember I was awakened by someone talking in my room. And I woke up, and I'm like wide-eyed, and I hear this person talking, but it was like in a faint whisper. It's like, it was just like that. And then another person started whispering, and then another person started whispering. It was like about 4 different people whispering at one time in my room. And I'm just laying there, and at this point, I didn't even realize I had sleep paralysis. And I'm just laying there just trying to figure out, like, what the heck is going on? And so I'm starting to get frightened, and I want to scream for my mother or my father to come in and please comfort me. So as I'm about to mouth to scream for my mother and father to come rescue me, I realize I feel like my mouth is being muffled by an invisible hand being over my mouth. And that's when I started feeling the pressure of as if someone was on my body. I started feeling the pressure of someone on my body kind of like holding me down. And I'm like totally freaking out. I'm a young girl, extremely scared at this point, and I don't know what the heck is going on. And finally, after I feel like a lifetime of trying to get shook and loose from this thing, I'm finally able to scream for my mother, and she comes running into my room, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I say, and I'm so afraid at this point, and I don't even understand what's happening, that it's hard for me to give her details of what's really going on with me. And she said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "What are you doing?" Just simple, "What are you doing?" And she says, "I'm praying in the house. Go to sleep." And I was like, okay, and I never told her what happened. And so I eventually fall back to sleep, and it didn't happen again. Now, few nights go by, and the same exact thing happens, except this time what I did was I prayed in my head. I'm sorry, you guys might hear my dog, and she's like trying to kill her little stuffed animal, so please disregard that. But anyway, so I'm sleeping in my bed, and I start hearing the whispering again, and I get up, I'm awake at this point, and I'm looking around, and I realize I can't move my body again, so I start praying in my head. And when I prayed in my head, that's when everything just went away. It just stopped immediately. And so I kind of got the understanding that this is evil, and I need to be more mindful of praying at night and keeping my Bible next to me, and that's the way it's going to go away. And that's the only thing that I could think of at that age to make this thing go away. So what I started doing from that night on was opening my Bible and sleeping on it. And that eventually made everything stop. I stopped having sleep paralysis in that house. So whatever it might have been, scientifically, I don't feel like that backs up the explanation to what I experienced. The other experience I had was when I was at age 16. And at this point, my father had got out of the military, but we were still living in Mississippi. My family had already, my mother and father had already divorced at this point, so I was living with my father, just he and I. And so I was sleeping in my room, and I woke up, and I noticed that I was lifting out of my bed. I mean, like, I'm laying down. Here's my bed, and this is me. I'm laying down on my bed, and I feel my feet rising up first, and then the rest of me just lifting up with it. And I'm starting to freak out, and I'm like, oh my God, you know, so I'm like scrambling to try to grab the bedpost or grab the sheets, because I'm about to float into wherever I'm going, you know, that's what I'm imagining is happening. And so as I'm trying to get myself back into the bed, I feel myself back in my bed, like, you know, laying down on my back and pinned to the bed. And I'm not able to move. I'm not able to speak. I'm not able to do anything. And then I noticed, you guys, it scared the crap out of me. I look to my left and I see this black blob creep out of the window and go up the ceiling and out to the out of the roof. It was the craziest thing, because I had this really long window in my bedroom. It was pretty narrow, but it was really long, and I assumed it was my dog, but it wasn't, because it had no body formation. It was this big black blob, and it just creeps out the window and it goes up the wall and out to the ceiling. And I finally am able to shake loose of whatever it is that's holding me down, and I'm just like looking around my room like, what in the hell is going on? Third thing that happened to me was when I was 18. And this is when I actually joined the military myself. And I got stationed in Okinawa, Japan. So I'm living in Japan, and I was kind of having, there was this book that I bought. Yeah, this book that I bought when I first moved there, and it was The Ghost of Okinawa. And so it tells you like a brief description of different ghost experiences that people have had and stuff like that. You know, and so the place that I worked at, it was with another local Japanese woman, and we were having these little conversations about like ghosts and stuff like that. And so she tells me the story of this little red-headed guy. I think his name was Ruiko or something like that, and he's like a little troll, and supposedly when children or other people experience sleep paralysis, they say that this little troll guy is the one that's responsible for it. So, you know, we're just talking about that at work one day, and it was on a Friday, and then it was time for me to go home or whatever. So I went back to my place, and I decided to go ahead and go to bed because I wasn't going to do anything that night. And so I get into the bed, and I started thinking about that stupid little red thing for some reason, you know, and about, you know, that little troll, and I hope it don't bother me. And I was just like, that's kind of silly, you know. I didn't, you know, think too much of it after that. So I finally fall asleep in my bed, and I wake up, of course, to another sleep paralysis incident, and I'm unable to move my body. And the first thing I'm thinking is this little red little double thing is in my room, and it's like terrorizing me right now. So I'm over here, like, again, I start praying in my head a little bit, because usually that is what helps me shake this sensation of being held down. And so as I'm trying to pray and get this thing loose from me, I start hearing my mother. My mother is across the ocean, 1,000 miles away in America, and here I am in Japan on a little island, you know. And so I hear my mother like calling my name, and she's like, Rae, Rae, you know, Rae, wake up. And she's just calling me. And then the next thing I know, I finally get loose from whatever this thing is that's holding me down, and my phone rings. And lo and behold, it's my mother. So those are all my experiences of my sleep paralysis. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, like, and comment, subscribe, and also give me some stories that you have had before in your past of any type of sleep paralysis that you may have witnessed, or even if you want to do a video response, that would be awesome, you know. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please stay tuned for more videos I have coming up in the near future, and you guys take care of yourselves. Bye now.